Most people think financial freedom is a number. They imagine a bank balance, a paid-off house, a giant investment account, or a quiet morning where nobody can tell them what to do. But financial freedom does not arrive all at once. It arrives in levels, and most of those levels are invisible from the outside. Two people can earn the same salary, live in similar apartments, drive similar cars, and look equally stable. But one of them is one unexpected bill away from panic, while the other can lose a job, say no to bad offers, wait for better opportunities, and still sleep at night. That difference is financial freedom, not the kind people brag about, the kind you feel in your nervous system. The first hidden level is survival. At this level, money is not a tool. Money is weather. It happens to you. Payday feels like sunlight. Rent feels like a storm. A medical bill, a car repair, or a late fee can change the entire month. You do not plan your life as much as you react to it. The strange part is that survival can exist at almost any income. Someone making very little can be trapped there, but someone making six figures can also be trapped there if every raise already belongs to a bigger apartment, a nicer car, private school, subscriptions, debt payments, and the quiet pressure to look successful. At survival level, the main emotion is not poverty. It is dependence. Dependence on the next paycheck, dependence on approval from a boss, dependence on credit cards when timing goes wrong, dependence on everything staying normal. This is why the first level of financial freedom is not investing. It is creating a gap between money coming in and money going out. At first, the gap can be tiny: $20, $50, a few meals not ordered, a bill negotiated, a subscription canceled, a purchase delayed. It does not look impressive, but psychologically, something changes when every dollar no longer has a job before it arrives. You begin to feel a little less chased. The second hidden level is breathing room. This is when you have a small buffer. Not enough to feel rich, not enough to quit anything, but enough that a normal problem does not become an emergency. The car needs a tire. The laptop breaks. A dental appointment costs more than expected. And instead of the entire month collapsing, you are annoyed. Annoyed is a luxury, because before this level, every surprise bill comes with fear attached to it. At breathing room, the fear becomes inconvenience. This is why a small emergency fund is more powerful than it looks. The number may be small, but the emotional change is large. You stop checking your account with dread. You stop timing every purchase down to the day. You stop needing perfect conditions to survive the month. But there is a trap here. Once people get breathing room, they often spend it immediately. Not because they are careless, but because deprivation has been building pressure. After months or years of saying no, the first bit of space feels like permission to say yes to everything. The hidden skill at this level is learning to protect the gap. Not forever, not with fear, but long enough for breathing room to become stability. The third hidden level is stability. Stability means your basic life can continue for a while, even if income is interrupted. This is where money stops being a daily alarm. You may not be free yet. You still need your job. You still need income. But you have enough stored energy to absorb a bad month, a delayed paycheck, or a short period of uncertainty. At this level, the question changes from, "Can I make it to payday?" to, "What is the smartest move?" That question is everything. When you have no stability, you choose what is available. When you have stability, you can choose what is better. You can compare job offers. You can leave a toxic manager without detonating your life. You can fix a problem early instead of waiting until it becomes expensive. Stability also changes how people treat you, not because they can see your emergency fund, they cannot, but because you negotiate differently when desperation is not driving the conversation. You are less likely to accept bad terms, less likely to tolerate disrespect, less likely to buy things to prove you are doing okay. The fourth hidden level is optionality. This is where financial freedom becomes visible in your choices, even if it is still invisible in your lifestyle. Optionality means you can choose between paths. You can take the lower-paying job that teaches more. You can move cities. You can start a small business on the side. You can take time to recover. You can say, "Not right now," without your whole life falling apart. Most people underestimate optionality because it does not always look like luxury. Sometimes it looks like staying in the same apartment longer. Sometimes it looks like driving the old car another year. Sometimes it looks like having fewer impressive things and more private choices. Optionality is the quiet stage where your life begins to belong to you again. The mistake people make at this level is confusing options with indulgence. They get a little freedom and immediately spend it on permanent obligations. A larger car payment, a higher rent, a lifestyle that requires the same job, the same income, and the same stress to continue. The key is to use optionality to buy more optionality. The fifth hidden level is ownership of time. At this level, your money does not only protect you from emergencies, it begins to protect your calendar. You can take a real weekend without guilt. You can pay someone to solve a problem that would have consumed your entire day. You can turn down extra work that damages your health. You can choose rest without feeling irresponsible. This is a strange stage because it may not look like becoming wealthier. It may look like becoming calmer. You start measuring purchases differently. Not just, can I afford this? But, what does this do to my time? Some expenses by convenience, some by distraction, some by status, some buy back actual life. At this level, you learn that financial freedom is not only having money, it is having the ability to decide which problems deserve your attention. The sixth hidden level is assets working in the background. This is the level where your money begins to create small amounts of money without direct labor. Interest, dividends, retirement contributions, index funds, a business system, rental income, royalties, equity. At first, it is almost insulting how small the results look. You invest, wait, and the first month looks meaningless. But this level is not about immediate income. It is about changing the direction of the current. Before this level, every dollar depends on you going out and earning it. After this level, a tiny part of your financial life keeps moving even when you are asleep. The early stage feels slow because assets whisper, debt shouts, bills shout, emergencies shout, lifestyle pressure shouts, assets whisper. But over time, the whisper becomes a second engine. The seventh hidden level is leverage. Leverage does not mean borrowing recklessly. It means your decisions begin to produce results larger than the hours you personally put in. A skill that raises your income, a network that brings opportunities, a reputation that makes people trust you, a small business system that keeps working, an investment portfolio that grows without needing your daily attention. At this level, financial freedom is no longer only about defense. It becomes offense. You are not just avoiding disaster, you are positioning yourself. This is also the stage where mistakes become more expensive. Bad tax decisions matter more. Bad partners matter more. Bad contracts matter more. Lifestyle inflation becomes more tempting because your income may finally feel strong. So the hidden skill here is restraint. You do not need to prove every upgrade. You do not need to convert every opportunity into more spending. You do not need to make your life heavier just because your balance sheet can carry it. The eighth hidden level is quiet power. Quiet power is when money no longer needs to announce itself. You have enough control over your expenses, enough assets in motion, enough stability, and enough optionality that you can make decisions without asking fear for permission. You can help family without destroying yourself. You can walk away from bad deals. You can wait. You can think. Waiting is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. People without financial freedom often cannot wait. They must take the first offer, the first loan, the first job, the first buyer, the first solution. Quiet power lets you wait for the right move. From the outside, this may not look dramatic. It might look like an ordinary person living below their means. But internally, it feels like space. The ninth hidden level is enough. This is the level people talk about the least because it cannot be measured cleanly. Enough is not the same number for everyone. For one person, enough means a paid-off home and a modest portfolio. For another, it means the ability to travel. For another, it means never needing to take work that violates their values. For another, it means their children are safe. Enough is where financial freedom stops being a race and becomes a design problem. What kind of life are you actually trying to fund? Not the life social media rewards. Not the life your coworkers respect. Not the life your younger self imagined before understanding what stress costs. The life you can live with. The danger is that without defining enough, every level turns into another staircase. More income, more assets, more status, more complexity, more comparison. And if you are not careful, you can become wealthy and still feel chased. That is the final hidden truth. Financial freedom is not just escaping low income. It is escaping financial fear. It is escaping the need to perform success. It is escaping the belief that your value rises and falls with your balance. The hidden levels are not about becoming someone else. They are about becoming less controlled, first by emergencies, then by paychecks, then by debt, then by bad jobs, then by other people's expectations, then eventually by your own fear of not having enough. So if you are at the beginning, do not be discouraged by how far the top looks. The first level is not glamorous. It is one protected dollar, then another, then a small buffer, then a month of stability, then an option, then an asset, then time, then quiet. And somewhere along that path, before you reach the number you once thought would save you, you may notice something strange. Your life starts feeling like it belongs to you again.